Captain America Brave New World, the latest MCU film, is in theaters. Here's my review. So, when this movie was first announced, I was very pessimistic. They announced this movie right after the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was a show I was more negative on, and they announced that the director is the same as Cloverfield Paradox, which, as a standalone movie not connected to Cloverfield, is watchable, but as a Cloverfield movie, is not good. There were all these reports about reshoots and delaying the film after negative test screenings, and I think this is an example of where delaying the film helped it. Rogue One had reshoots, and even people who don't like a lot of Disney Star Wars really like that movie. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked this movie. Now, one of my main problems with the Falcon series was they wrote him very cocky and very arrogant, but here he isn't like that. He's actually likable, and his issue in this movie is how he's going to lead a new Avengers team in dealing with the weight and burden of that, because he's not a super soldier like Steve was. He's just some random guy. He doesn't really have powers or anything, and it's done really well. The action sequences in this movie really stand out. If you're a fan of some of the more street-level, grounded MCU projects like Daredevil or the Hawkeye series, it's very much aligned with that. And much like the Russo brothers directed Captain America films, this feels like a political action thriller first, and a comic book movie second, and that's a good thing. At a time where a lot of the MCU is starting to feel very assembly line, very micromanaged, this is a movie that still has its own identity. Even if you're not a comic book fan, you can enjoy the film if you're a fan of Mission Impossible, Jack Ryan, those kind of movies. And it takes things like MK Ultra and puts it in a comic book world. And it doesn't even really start to feel like a comic book movie until like the last 15 or 20 minutes. The plot is pretty intriguing. Harrison Ford is a standout performance, and I do kind of joke that this is, in essence, sort of a sequel to Air Force One, because he's the president in this. So this is sort of like his second term 25 years later. So kind of a sequel to Air Force One, but not really. Giancarlo Esposito is a great villain in this, and the film has a bit of a darker tone than some of the other MCU projects. I'd say this is the darkest Captain America movie yet, but it's not the level of dark that was like Doctor Strange 2, or The Agatha Show, or Werewolf by Night. It still has enough lightheartedness that it stops it from feeling nihilistic. Now, the original title for this movie was actually New World Order, but they changed it to Brave New World, because apparently the New World Order title made people uncomfortable, and I just ask, why? New World Order would have been a better title because it's referring to the plan of the villains. Now, what does hold it back is it does unfortunately require a lot of homework. We need to have seen the 2008 Hulk movie, all the previous Captain America movies, Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, and also Eternals. Other than it feeling a bit too weighted by the previous projects, it's still a fantastic film. So for me, it gets an A-, a 9 out of 10, and 4 out of 5 stars. If you're a fan of a lot of the more grounded MCU projects that are more action than they are superhero, see it.